keeping it real.
Thank you, everybody. On my show, I will feature artists and creatives and allow them the opportunity to showcase their talent and enlighten you through education and show you how it is that they use their skill to entertain the world. Let me give you the opportunity to allow you to get to know me. Let's start with my days in Decatur, Illinois. I was a teenager. But first, I have to tell you that I was very fortunate enough to have parents who supported our love for music, our being my brothers and I. They also had the artistic gene in them. My father, he was a theater director and also a TV host. In fact, I never would have imagined me following his footsteps. I'm a musician. I've been in the background as a keyboardist, but to be in the front, that's a new challenge. So it's like we were living parallel lives. And then my mother, this is keeping it real. We're going to keep it really real with you guys. My mother was an actress. It's not something she really tells people. So my mother moved to LA, and then my father followed her. That's not romantic. I don't know what is. So our parents ingrained in us a lot of very important principles. They ingrained in us how to have discipline, work hard, have the work ethic. But most importantly, they taught us to always be grateful, always be thankful, and always pay it forward. And that, my friends, is exactly what the show is about. Giving back and paying it forward. And giving others the platform, as you can see here, the platform to shine and also showcase their talent. In other words, we can be a support system to help you reach your goals. I hope that by watching this show, you find what it is that are your needs and that you're able to discover your success. So I want you to start with my journey that brought me here today. Inspired through seeing my brothers perform at a very young age. And that's initially what made me want to pick up the violin. Seeing their dedication and love for music is what gave me my initial love for music. While living in Illinois, I was in middle school and I saw my brothers perform in the jazz band, the MacArthur Jazz Band. The energy and love that everyone had for stage and music was incredible. While in Illinois, I would spend countless hours in my parents' basement practicing piano, looking up musicians online who inspired me and learning how to record, anything and everything that had to do with music. Music is like an organ to me. I have to have it to keep breathing. I'm sure some of you guys out there can relate. Here in this video, you can see me playing in the basement, and the background, you'll see the instruments and even pictures of my brothers. We call ourselves the Cabrera Trio. As you can see here, I'm in the basement playing one of my original compositions entitled Contradictions. I wrote that in the time before I moved to the East Coast because it seemed like everything that I always wanted, there was just things that were happening that it just felt like a bunch of contradictions. I want to move, but I'm getting all these things happening, and it didn't flow. It just seemed like a big contradiction. But as you saw in this video, I had a lot of passion, and I hope you can see the love, the genuine love that I have towards music. But the love doesn't stop in the basement. That love and passion for music also translate on stage. Here in the next video, you can see me performing with a band, and we opened up for Lenny Williams, who's best known for a singer, Tower of Power. As you can see there, you may have seen a different kind of energy, but as I see it, the stage is mine, and the stage is yours. And the stage is what you make it. And to me, I feel the most comfortable on stage, like I can express myself, and my determination and perseverance did not fail me. And I'm glad that I didn't stop. Because I had situations, I had people, I had friends, even friends, that maybe not intentionally were pulling me away, like almost like crabs in a bucket, right? Almost just tugging along, right? But I had to take a breath every time those things happen and say, wait a minute. You have a passion, Carlisio. You have a love for this. So don't you owe it to yourself? Don't you, the viewer, don't you owe it to yourself to stay on your path, to do what you love, to not listen to all the noise? Because not everyone is rooting for you. Let's just keep it real. We're keeping it real here. Not everyone wants to see you win. But can I tell you that I, Carlisio Keys, I want to see you win. I want to see you win, and I want to see you on this stage. Whether you're a creative, an artist, whatever it is that you do, photographer, you're a doctor. You know, there's no limits, there's no boundaries. I want you here. I want you to share your story. I want you to showcase what it is that you do, and I want you to touch someone out there, as I'm sure you will. So, coming up next, we will be having an interview with Mr. Greg Banks. Guests, and I'm glad that you are here for the best part of the show. Thank you so much, Greg. It's a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Keith. I appreciate that.
Greg, so I have to ask you, I'm sure when you're walking down the city sidewalk that you have people asking you all the time, who are you and what is this incredible fashion that you have?
Well, it's plain and simple, man. I tell them, my name is Greg Banks. I'm a singer, songwriter, musician, and I'm on my way to something great. They're often startled, like, what do you mean? Where are you going? I say, I'm following my destiny. I'm probably going to rehearsal or doing something involving music. And since I have your time, go check out my website, gregbanksmusic.com. You know, it's always about pushing them to figure out what it is, you know, musically.
I remember the first time that I met you, and I was waiting in rehearsal, and then you came out, but you were wearing the same thing that I saw on your website, and I said, wait a minute, did you just have a performance? And you said, no, this is who I am.
That's right, man.
So, who is Greg Banks?
Oh, Greg Banks, now a man. I grew up in the city of New Orleans, the amazing city, the fifth of 9 kids, and everywhere around me there was music, there was inspiration. There were tough times. I mean, I grew up in the projects, a single mother, so sometimes some things I would say were very tumultuous, but overall, it was a house full of love, a neighborhood full of love, and a neighborhood full of inspiration. I saw the negative things happen, and I chose to pull the positive out of it. I started to focus on music early on, but it really wasn't until Hurricane Katrina where everything was stripped away, all of my childhood, my boyish, tangible things were taken away, that I really had to focus on music. And in that moment, I decided to give it my all, because this would be the thing that would change my life and others' lives.
That's amazing. That's amazing that you're able to stay positive, and that you were able to channel that energy, as I'm sure it may have been difficult.
Very difficult, because I didn't have the knowledge. I mean, it was all off of instinct. And yes, my mother was present, but she couldn't tell me how to handle my own pain. She could just give me advice on what she thought would be the most, you know, helpful thing.
Absolutely. So, after Hurricane Katrina, is that what prompted you to move to New York?
Not quite. I was actually in 10th grade at the time, so I was still
okay.
fairly young. So I moved to a nearby city, actually in Natchez, Mississippi. That's where I finished high school, and that's actually where I did my first recordings. I would have never thought my first recording would have come from a small town in Mississippi, in a closet to be exact. But that's where I saw that I had something unique, because every time I put out a record or a CD mixtape for that matter, people would buy it up. Every time I performed, the entire city came out. That's why I knew I had something great. So I chose a major in college, which was a classical voice with a minor in marketing. And I went to school to really hone my craft and really develop the skill that I knew I needed to take it out into the world.
Wow, that's great. So what would you say separates you from other artists?
My individuality, my mark that I was given by the Creator to be myself. I walk in that every day wholeheartedly without fear. No one else can do that, no one else can be me. So that alone separates me from other artists and other people as well.
Did you ever have, I know as an artist and even a musician, sometimes we may have the tendency to compare ourselves to others and maybe fear judgment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know you have a very bold look. Did you ever have maybe that fear, what are others thinking, or any of that maybe tugging at you?
I did, and it was early teen years. when I was simply looking to my most tangible inspirations to figure out who I was. I mean, because I think that's what we all do. We look to the things that we like the most to try and find or define ourselves in that. But I tell you again, when Katrina came, it stripped away all of my fear, man. Like that moment, that tragedy, took away everything that I think could have slowed me down, because it showed me that life, things can be taken away so quickly. You don't have but one of these, as far as I know. So after that moment, I decided to give my all, non-stop. And nothing nobody said or thought about me swayed me. And I guess it could have also come as a fault, because I guess maybe sometimes I can be stubborn too, because that stubbornness was a mechanism to move beyond people's judgment. You know, and I've grown to learn to be a bit easier with that. But you know, it worked for me. That was my way of being able to navigate the world and not be moved by people's opinion.
Absolutely. Naturally, I think in the music industry, it can be a roller coaster ride. You know,
man.
from the ups
Hurry up and wait
down.
every day. Hurry up and wait. Something's happening. Wait though.
What keeps you buckled in?
Well, man, I have an amazing manager, man, who has incredible experience, and her knowledge, equipped with her experience, helps me to understand the things that I may not even see, because she's been there before, she's seen them, and she is a great help in helping me to navigate this, man. You know, so like we said before, no man is an island, and when you get the right people around you, your trajectory is success without a doubt, man. You will make it there.
No, I believe it. What about the initial connection with your manager? How did that come about?
Divine order. Yeah, man, I've been in New York for like 5-6 days, man. And I decided to go to the barbershop, the only one that I knew. I walked around the corner. 2 guys, one cutting hair, one getting his haircut. So I sat down and we just started talking, you know. They were like, man, where you from? I'm from New Orleans, man. I just moved up a couple days ago. I'm here to take my career to the next level. And one of the guys in the chair was like, yo, man, you ever thought about modeling? I said, not so much. I mean, I'm mainly focused on my career. And the barber was like, this guy knows people, man. You should check him out. I was like, yeah, right. This is that New York BS they told me about. They told me about this. This is going to happen. My 6th day, not so soon. So I'm like, okay, I'll hear him out. She's like, man, I have a friend of mine. She works with this haircut company. How about I take a picture of you, I send it to her, and if she gets back to me before I leave, then you see where it goes. Did such. Reached out, and that led me to Marlene, my manager. I went in for an audition interview, and that's where I started. As I was walking out after the audition interview, she's like, what else do you do? I was like, I'm a musician. She's like, send me some music. So I sent her the music, and rumor has it, she says that she was hoping my music sounded as good as I looked. And
Ooh,
I guess it may have, because we're working together now, you know. Because sometimes I guess there can be an image that doesn't quite match up with the product, you know. So thankfully I nurtured both of those things evenly. And I mean, everything is still growing, so I don't have it all figured out, but I'm doing a great job at it, I believe.
Absolutely, and I know you are. And in terms of music, what was your initial, what prompted your love for music and your initial writing?
Well, my love for music, first of all, came from growing up in New Orleans, man. Like, there's musical processions for no reason. People are playing for no reason at all. They're walking down the street playing the trumpet, or you hear a funky jazz band, brass band. That was my first and initial interaction. But hearing artists like Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, Sly Stone, those guys showed me what it looked like to translate your feeling into something positive and something moving. And I always say, if I were maybe a kid in this generation, I don't know if I would have had the love for music like I have now, because those influences that I had were just unequivocally great and incredible at what they did. And there's great artistry now, but there was a certain love and a certain passion and respect for the craft that made me want to do what I'm doing. So I believe that my influences, coupled with where I grew up, gave me all that I needed to start it and move it forward. My mother and family believed in me, gave me the courage to continue moving it forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's great. That's great. And in terms of your overall goal in music, are you using music as a vehicle to spread a certain message or do anything else? Mm-hmm. What would that be?
Well, first and foremost, I'm using music to fulfill my purpose as a being. What I believe I'd like to do, what I'm working toward every day, is change lives through music. I want to, one of the biggest things I want to do is put the recreational centers back in the city and the community where I grew up, because that's what gave me hope. Being able to go to recreational centers and learn about music in all forms, from reading music, pottery, dance, sports, and it was all free to the community. That's no longer there in the community, so children are resorting to violence. So I want to be able to put that back in the community, make music that will inspire you, like the music that I heard inspired me, to continue something great. I want to inspire people, man, and really help to be that ripple effect in the ocean to change the world, man, through my art, through my fearless living, and through, I believe, my purpose, man, because I don't know what tomorrow brings, but I know that what I'm working toward today. And I'm hoping that what tomorrow has and what I'm working for today coincide and it's one common goal that's going to make that effect that I'm praying for.
Wow, I really admire your determination and tenacity. I know that sometimes we can get discouraged, or maybe at one point moving faster, maybe slower. Like, have you ever questioned yourself or what you're doing?
Often, I have. I questioned why was I given such a burning desire inside of me to do something.
Greg Banks, also known as the Saint of Soul.
Yes,
check
man.
him out at gregbanksmusic.com. Greg, what do you say we do a little performance?
I'd love to, man.
Thank you
Yes,
so
man.
much.
Thank you, man.
I need you to get up. Oh. Don't you be surprised by the twang in my talk, dip in my walk, the glow inside of my eyes. See, I done seen a lot, but the more just scratched it off my shoulders. See, I'm sure you had a few stones in your way, but you're down some bones. This is not about those tough substitutes. Say I love you, oh, and you get through anything, you got me, I got you, and we got God, baby. Good God, good Lord, we'll be just fine. We can coast like the Mississippi. Take you up town to see my money, girl. I can show you all around my city. If you promise that you'll be my jam, my jam. Tell me that you want me like I want you, baby. Tell me now. No time to waste, no time to waste, baby. Tell me that you want me like I want you, baby. Tell me now. No time to waste, no time to waste, my baby. Tell me that you want, tell me that you need me. Tell me that you want, I won't waste my time. Tell me that you want, tell me that you need. No, we're not together, we're having some. Tell me no, second to none. Second time to make it follow like a second. Oh, be humble, but I don't mumble. Clear all in the air, you better run it, don't rumble. 'Cause I won't stumble, no, I won't stumble. Oh, yeah, not like wine, store over time. Pretty girl, come and be mine. Let me respond, show you love is and it makes you mine. You got me, I got you, and we got God, baby. Good God, good Lord, we'll be just fine. We can coast like the Mississippi. I'll take you uptown to see my money. I'll show you all around my city, baby. If you promise to be mine. Tell me that you want me like I want you, baby. Tell me, get funky. No time to waste, no time to waste, baby. Tell me that you want me like I want you, baby. Tell me now. No time to waste, no time to waste, my baby. Tell me that you want me, tell me that you need, tell me that you want me. I won't waste my time, no baby. Tell me that you want, tell me that you need, tell me that you want me. Play on. Woo! Come on. Big up. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you need me. Tell me that you want me. I won't waste my time, oh baby. Oh, tell me that you want me. Tell me that you need me. Tell me that you want me. I won't waste my time. Can I give you some of that soul music? Can I give you some of that soul music? Oh, baby, can I give you some of that soul? deepest rest. When you walk in the room, oh, you sweep me up, baby. Oh, baby, you sweep me like the room. It's obvious I love you like a gem. Ain't no need to worry, got me to yourself. You penetrate my skin, your love is pure as gold. I love you way down in my love you like that soul music. Let's go like that soul. Love you like that soul music. My baby friend, go like that soul, babe. Love you like that soul music. Let's go like that soul, soul, babe. Love you like that soul music. My baby friend. Don't move me over and over, yeah. Your touch is as strong as a hurricane, trying to go flying. See, you know me better than I know myself. I'd stay on your love and fight 100 by myself. It's obvious I love you, think it's ain't no need to worry, got me to yourself. You penetrate my skin, your love is pure as gold. Love you way down in my, love you like that soul music. All that I'm saying, love like that soul. Love you like that soul music. Not in my brain, love like that soul, baby. Love you like that soul music. Now you know what's saying, love like that soul, babe. Ooh, love you like that soul music. Oh, that's what brain, love like that soul, soul, babe. Can I sing to you? Can I sing to you? Can I sing to you? Ooh, love you like that soul music, that soul music, that soul music, that soul, that soul music, that soul. Take it down for me, fellas. Said I love you. Oh, baby, love you like. Oh, girl, love you like. Love you way down in my, way down in my, way down in my soul.
Thank y'all. Adios, amigos.
By you coming, you're teaching them as well.
It's an honor because, you know, nothing happens in one moment. It's a series of moments compounded over time that get you the result. So I can't turn my back on an opportunity that's going to allow me to reach people. You know, we're never that big to where we can avoid reaching someone else or bringing someone new into it. So every time I'm blessed with the opportunity, I take it, I give my all, and that's all I can do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Greg, thanks. Where can people find your music?
You can find me at www.gregbanksmusic.com. SoundCloud, the same, Facebook as well. My next show will be in New Orleans during the Essence Fest weekend. So if you're in town or somebody you know is going to town, tell them come and check us out. Greg Banks and the High Life is going to be crazy, y'all. Don't miss it, okay?
Thank you so much. I also want to thank the house band, the Vibe. They did their thing. I'm very happy. Also, if you want to check out my social media, Instagram, Carlisio24. But really quick, I want to take a second. The people I have to thank first and foremost are my parents. My parents are a huge influence, had a huge impact on my upbringing and supported me and always showed that love that that I hope to keep showing to people, that I will make it a point to keep showing to people.
Definitely.
Because at the end of the day, we're a reflection of our parents.
That's right, man.
So I hope that touches somebody out there and maybe helps you reflect on how you're treating other people. Because how you treat others is the way they will treat you.
And others that they meet in their path.
And you're never too big. So I also want to thank Victoria from VEM Productions. Without Victoria, she's like the puppeteer. Without that, we have no production.
That's right, man.
You know, it takes a collective of people that see your vision and believe it and trust and have confidence that it will bloom.
That's right.
So thank you so much. Greg, do you mind singing us out?
Let's give him some soul music, y'all.